Hi, everyone. This is DJ Mish, and I'm on the Nico Blitz Podcast.
Oh my God, is that Nico Blitz?
Nico Blitz Podcast. I'm not sure what episode this is, but you know, we here. Shout out to my nice guest, DJ Mish.
What's up, y'all?
How are you, Mish? Just
I'm
got back from
good.
Taipei.
I did, yeah. I'm still feeling a little, like, out of place a little bit.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
And I say that because I might have microdosed on a little something beforehand. But
Which universe are you in right now?
me, we're in a Squish Fest meets Blitz World right now. That's the universe we're in right now. Come on, man. Come on. Oh, shoot. But how was Taipei?
It was great. It was great. I just spent so much time with my family and just like good food every day. I ate so much. I gained a lot of weight. So, yeah.
What food is in Taiwan? Because I honestly don't think I've ever just went to a Taiwanese restaurant or something that's just like publicized as this is Taiwanese food.
I mean, like, I think the most famous is like, the beef noodle soup.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
That's
so
fire.
I think that's what everyone knows about Taiwan is like our beef noodle soup. And also like Din Tai Fung is from Taiwan. Like the soup dumplings.
Oh.
Like the fried rice, the pork chops, those sort of things, a lot of stir fry stuff. And also street food.
So Din Tai Fung, huh?
Yeah.
Is that like is that like one of those restaurants where you're just like, because when there's like a popular food from like your country, right?
Yeah.
Is Din Tai Fung like one of those places where it's like too popular to where you're kind of just like, I'm kind of cool off of it?
I think, because it's interesting because everyone thinks, I say Taiwan, and they're like, oh, Din Tai Fung. But actually, like, Din Tai Fung, like the soup dumpling, we don't eat that on a daily basis.
Oh.
Like, that's not something we eat, like, every day. Like, we eat street food, we eat, like, braised pork over rice and stuff like that. But soup dumpling isn't something, that we eat all the time. But I think the restaurant just, like, popularized it. And it became so famous. And it was the first one to, like, open 1 million stores overseas. So then it just kind of became, like, it represented Taiwan. But if you go to Taiwan and you go to the Din Tai Fung, like, 80% is Japanese people.
What the fuck?
Like,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, I haven't even tried Din Tai Fung until I was, like, I think 20 years old. Just like normal Taiwanese people, there's a lot of people that don't go to Din Tai Fung. Because it's not like something we eat every day.
Yeah.
And when you go, it's just packed with tourists. So it's just like, we just eat, there's like other stuff that we eat,
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It is kind of irresistible when you have this soup dumpling. Just it tastes like an Asian adult gusher.
Yeah.
That's literally what it tastes like.
Yeah,
you just have this
much.
Soup just surging into your mouth after the first bite.
Yeah. And what I noticed is interesting is that a lot of people here, or a lot of people that are not Asian, they are not really used to like eating super hot stuff. It's like their tongue and their mouth is just not as accustomed to it. It's like when they eat, because like I eat hot pot like all the time, like every day.
Yeah.
Like, and then I remember like I think like Shira went to hot pot and he was like, I kept burning my mouth. Like, I don't know how to eat it. And I was like, it's not.
I don't know. You kind of
it's
just have to. I feel like it's something where, I mean, depending on what type of Asian you are, you kind of grew up with that type of food.
Yes.
So that as we grow up, it's kind of like normal shit. But when you introduce it to your friends or whoever of like other cultures, it's like such a culture shock.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of Asian food, like, it always comes with some type of soup. Like, I know, like, Filipino food, too, and, like, you know, like, even Mexican, there's, like, soups. And it always has to be, like, boiling hot. Like, all the food has to be
Super
boiling hot. Yeah.
That's why I think there was this spot around here, and for the first time in my life, this was literally a couple months ago, I tried cold ramen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Have you tried that before?
I have. I think I tried it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, I can see
know
that.
It's like a very Korean thing. Like Koreans, they have it in their culture too, like cold ramen.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So basically what you do is there's just noodles on the side, cold ass noodles, and then some hot ass soup.
Oh, like you dip it in?
You basically just dip the food in. And I'm like, oh, this is a very interesting way to go about it. And maybe you might think like it's kind of redundant since you're going to put it in anyway, but like it just tastes different for whatever reason. Right. I don't know. We get super fancy with our food.
I know. Oh my God. Yes. All kinds.
Yeah. But man, I always love the food talk in the beginning of the podcast. DJ Mish, everybody. If you didn't know, she's a fucking DJ. So I was thinking about this earlier. Like, how did we meet? Was it from Grace? I want to say she might have threw a rent money party and we were just on the same bill.
It might have been. Yeah. I think it was Grace. It was pre-pandemic too.
Pre-pandemic.
Like a long time ago. I think it was Grace. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm not sure, but then I saw
I don't remember. I just remember there was once I was spinning at Federal or something, and then you came through.
Oh, that was a lit night.
Yeah, it was so fun that night. But I don't remember like before that. Like, how do we meet or like how do we connect?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just always constantly remember seeing you at Apartment. Either I'm spinning or you're spinning or we're both spinning. Yes. And like it was just a thing. And I was like, oh, you know, Mish is fucking dope.
You know, I think it might be either the first or second rent money. When we were inside and we were using that like janky controller or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I went on before you, and then you got on. I was like, wow, this guy talks a lot. I think I kind of remember now. But you fucking killed it so hard that night. I was like, damn, he's good.
Dude, every time I see your sets, you kill it. Like even just the other day, you had this event at like this workspace type thing, and it's so refreshing hearing like songs or like edits of songs that I just have not heard before because I'm so used to doing all this club shit.
Right.
To where I'm like, cool, like it's more relaxed. It's chill.
We're not doing top 40 tonight.
We're not doing top 40 tonight, man. It's cool. So I mean, there's always just a different, I guess, array of DJs, as you like to say. Like I talk so fucking much. But I think that's what makes like DJ so special is because like, you know, like you, for instance, like you'll pull out like the most random cuts that I've never heard. And I'm like, cool. Like I'm happy listening to this shit. Me, I just talk. But DJing is just such a interesting art form in that sense. Right. You can kind of do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, totally. Cause I feel like for me, I don't get on the mic like ever. It's not something that I'm used to unless it's like a super lit, like EDM type of party where I can be like, yo, what's up? Like, but then I don't know. I just feel awkward doing it. So I never do it. I just like play and be in my zone. And I think that's what I'm more comfortable with. So when I see like DJs that are getting on the mic, I'm like, damn, I should practice how to do that.
Why do you feel awkward though?
I don't know. I think I just don't like my voice sometimes.
You have a very good speaking voice.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess I just feel like shy about my voice and how it sounds like in the like through the mic when I'm like shouting to the crowd. I'm like, does that sound weird? Are they gonna think I'm a bad like, you know,
bad MC or something? Bad MC,
yeah. So I think I get very self-conscious because I know I like kill it on the decks. So I'm like, I'm confident in that. I'll just do that, you know. And then I'm like more iffy about getting on the mic. I'm like, ugh. You know? Yeah,
I feel like it's just something like mic work, just like anything, you know, DJing, mic work, whatever. It's just something that kind of you build over time. Right. It's kind of interesting because people always ask me about my mic work whenever I'm at the club. And I'm like, honestly, like it's because I'm on Twitch so much. Like I've just learned how to communicate so well. Right. So I feel like, you know, you've been on Twitch longer than me. So it's like, I feel like your mic skills would be like way better than what it was pre-pandemic.
No, but if you tune into my stream and tune into your stream, it's very different. Like when we're on the mic though, because you're always like, this, you know, you're like DJ Stress. Like you guys are the same. You guys are like the same lane, like in my eyes. Where I'm just more like, hey guys, welcome to the stream. What's up?
What's poppin'?
Yeah, what's poppin'? Yeah. How's everyone's days going? We're like, you know, if I go into your stream, you're like, oh shit, it's DJ Mish, and you turn the echo up like 100%. So.
Dude, yeah. I be laughing every time you hop on my stream and like turns on echo. I'm like, is this really a thing about me? I don't know. Fuck. But yeah, I mean, the relationship you and I have built over the past couple of years, like I'm happy to call you like one of my good homies, especially in the DJ game. And it's like, you know, I've told you so many times, like you're somebody who I look up to because like it's very rare to see somebody just always consistently do their thing, whether, I mean, you know, back home in Taipei, for example, or like over here in the United States. It's just like, I just feel like you're always constantly doing your thing, dude. It's ridiculous.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is DJing like your only full-time thing? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Right now it is, yeah.
Okay.
Like streaming and DJing. But before, like I think I've always struggled with it a little bit because obviously I know that DJing is like the only thing I want to do. But then like, you know, there were times like throughout the past 2 years that it couldn't like support me full time. So then I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, do I go get a job? But then I was like, if I get a job, like I hate the job. Because there's literally like every time I've tried to get so many like different jobs like throughout the years. And it just, every job I get, it just makes me realize how much more I only want to DJ. Like, cause I'm like, I don't like everything else. I'm like at my job and I was like, I wish I could be DJing right now.
Yeah.
Or like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? And I guess I've also, but it's like a struggle because I think I also need to find a balance. There's this like misconception where like your passion, like if you make your passion your full-time job, blah, 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 you never have to work a day or like all that type of stuff. But there's also this other type of people who they can really like separate their jobs and their passion. Like they can just, a job can just be a job and they're really good at separating themselves from that. Like, this is my job, I do my job, and then once I clock out, that's it. Like I have all this free time to do whatever I want after work. And the work is just a means of like income to support me, to let me have something to fall back on. But I don't need to put, you know, all this like effort and energy and my life's, you know, all this like attention on the job. There's people like that too, you know, like the job is just a job. And then they separate it so well that, you know, they can still pursue whatever their passion is outside of like working time.
No, I totally get you. I mean, I feel like that's just a very difficult thing for me to personally do. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I started DJing, I wasn't doing, you know, random jobs. I wasn't doing like Uber or Lyft or like anything like that, which I was suggested to do because realistically, when you first start DJing, it's like you're not really making too much fucking money, right?
Exactly.
So then I was never really the type of person to want to, I guess, have something else help funnel the dream in that sense. But I mean, kudos to people who are able to like look at a job and just be like, this is just going to be like my money making income, and kind of just detach themselves after like the 9 to 5 time is over. It's a very interesting perspective. Like I don't hear a lot of people talking about that.
It is. I think with my last job, I struggled so much because I really like, it was so depressing for me. Like it was so painful. Like my last job was at like a social media agency. So I'm kind of like the mediator between whatever brand that wants to find influencers. And I'm the person that needs to go find the influencers and be like, hey, you know, so I'm the middleman. And then there were just a lot of problems like with the company, with the agency itself as well. But it got me to a point where I was taking everything so personally that it really like, I just wanted to shut down all the time. Like if something went wrong, of course, like the influencers would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like what's going on? But then I'm only the middleman. Yeah. Right? Like if the brand is fucking up, I'm the one that has to apologize all day to the influencers and be like, yo, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And that really got to me. And then I think that's when I really started to like, you know, look into, I read like books, I listened to like podcasts. And that's when I found this other perspective where there's people saying, hey, it's just a job. Like detach yourself from that. You know, like don't take it personally. Like they don't know who you are. You're just a person doing your job. Of course, they're going to yell at you or be mad at you. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean they hate your thing, that you're a bad person. Like it's just business. So if you're taking like, you know, if they're not paying me really that much, like, you know, then I'm like, why am I pouring all of my time and effort and all of this, my soul into this job where I'm not really like that appreciated or, you know? So then I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me take a step back. This is just a job. Yeah. And then it made me feel a lot less painful
less
about
stress,
going through that.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what, let me detach myself. So this is just a job. And I also did not feel as painful about it taking time or energy away from my DJing, because I'm like, okay, this is a means of income. That's all that it is. And I can still do this, and I can use this as like a foundation to also, to still pursue the DJing thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of interesting you saying that, because you're actually making me put it into perspective, or maybe it's the shrooms just actually like fucking getting to me now. But it's like, when I used to work at the radio station, for instance, at one point I did see it as like, I'm here for the look, and I'm here to just do what I need to do for the next 5 hours. Like, and I guess in a sense, it was kind of me detaching myself from, I guess, like really loving it, because I knew what it was for at that point. And then once I was able to maximize what it was for, like the only thing that sucked was when the pandemic hit. And then I see everybody just getting so mad that they're getting fired, getting laid off and shit like that. And I'm like, but this is just the reality of, big companies. It's nothing personal that you need to take. It's really just, hey, we need to make a smart fucking business move right now. And that business move is cutting everyone. So it's like people like myself and, people who I still rock with today, we all got cut from the radio show, but it's like, well, I mean, we're still alive and thriving and still doing what we do. But at the end of the day, I always tell people, like, you shouldn't fully immerse yourself into something that isn't yours. So, like we're DJs, like if it's not about DJing, if it's not about like DJ Mish as a brand, if it's not about Nico Blitz as a brand, like what is it really for then?
Yeah, exactly.
Like how the fuck, it's just one of those things that So then how long have you actually been DJing for?
I think 6 years. Now.
Okay, so like 2016?
2016, yeah. That was like my first gig, I think. Yeah.
It was out here or back home?
No, it was back in Taiwan. So I started DJing back in Taiwan for about like, I would say 2.5, 3 years. And then I was like, okay, this is getting a little boring. Then I was like, so I just decided to move here.
Okay. So then how'd you even get into DJing?
Well, I was, like I always listened to a lot of music growing up, and my friends would always they knew that I listened to a lot of music, and also I went clubbing a lot, so they knew. They knew I was that party girl as well. So they would always be like, hey, can you make a playlist for us? Blah, blah. We need back in I don't know, 2012 or whatever, there wasn't Spotify back then. There wasn't all this streaming service. I remember I had to download songs from stuff like LimeWire, stuff like that, and then you put it into a USB. Well, we had USBs already, so we put it into a USB, and then you put it into Microsoft Media Player, and then you let it play for 2 hours or whatever. But that was so my friends would ask me to make playlists for them, basically.
Man, I see you. Okay.
And then I was like, this is pretty fun. I enjoyed that process. And then every time my friends would come back and be like, yo, that playlist was really good. Everyone loved the music. And I was like, oh, cool. I guess that kind of gave me a satisfaction that I was like, why don't I try to do this more,
How do I just blend these songs together?
Yeah, I know. I was like, why don't I just try to do this? And already, because I was clubbing so much, so I was very familiar with the environment, just being DJs being on stage, watching kind of, them interact with the crowd and all that. And that was an energy that I really enjoyed as well. Yeah. So I was just very drawn to that.
Do you remember maybe some of the first DJs you remember watching from the crowd and being like, yo, they're fire?
I mean, I think the first one is obviously when I was clubbing a lot, the resident DJ was Ray Ray. She's this huge, female DJ number, the most famous female DJ in Taiwan. And she's kind of blown up over the past few years. She's, signed to the Yellow Claws label,
that's lit.
Family. She's played at Tomorrowland, EDC, all these places. And I actually ended up becoming good friends with her after a few years.
Oh, sick.
But I remember, the first, when I first started going clubbing, she was the resident DJ there. And I was always like, all our friends would be like, yeah, let's go see Ray Ray. We're like, okay.
So then how'd you guys even become friends?
I think it was just like through other DJ friends. Like once I started DJing and then I was like, I was getting into the scene more. And then I was like, I got introduced to her and I was like, oh my God. Like, and then we went to the same college actually. She's a few years older than me. So we never like connected back in school. But I always knew that, oh, like we come from like sort of the same background because we went to the same school. Yeah. And then we got introduced and I was like, screaming inside. I was like, oh my God, it's Ray Ray. Like I've watched her DJ since like before I knew how to DJ, and now that I'm actually meeting her, you know. And then we became friends, and then now like she invites me onto her streams as well, and like we play together and we like talk all the time, and it's still like crazy to me that I'm like friends with her sometimes.
Do you ever tell her? Do you ever externalize these thoughts to her?
I think I told her maybe once or twice, but she's so like humble. Cause I was like, I remember when I met her, I was like, I'm trying to be like you. Like, that's what I told her. I was like, I'm trying to be like you, you know? And she was like, don't try to be like me. She was like, you have to have your own path.
Yeah.
And that struck me so hard. I was like, damn. Cause then I feel like I think every DJ when they're starting out and throughout like the first few years, they kind of like their genre change, their style changes a lot, right?
Definitely.
Like when I first started, I played trap and like EDM stuff. And then I started getting more into hip hop and I was like, oh shit, like I think I like this better. But then it's like all these like, you know, like festivals and stuff, like they don't book like hip hop DJs.
They really don't.
You know, like all these festivals that are going on, like you see Diplo, you see Dylan Francis, you see all these people and they're like just fucking like EDM producers. And then so it really like made me think like, do I need to be that? Like, is that what it takes for, I need to learn how to produce EDM. I need to spin EDM. I need to do all this if I want to be like that, you know? And I think, because they're the only DJs that they're like, nowadays when people hear like you're a DJ, they're like, oh, do you produce? And it
kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So I think that's like the whole EDM culture and the festival culture kind of made it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think I think it really kind of affected me because everyone was like, that's what everyone thought a DJ was. And then I was like, oh, so I guess in order to be successful, I need to be like that. I
get you, because I guess so, to kind of like summarize what you're saying is that the misconception, I guess in this sense, is a DJ would just be an EDM DJ, right? Somebody that you would see at the festival, not knowing that there's so many different types of DJs out there. Yeah, exactly.
And I think after I came to America, like it definitely opened my eyes to a lot of different DJs. But I think in Asia, especially in Taiwan, the music scene is a lot smaller and there's not that many like hip hop parties, you know, just at bars or like these type of things. Yeah. It's all just like club and all the clubs play EDM.
That's crazy. So it's like EDM all night.
Yeah. And everyone goes to like festivals, but they don't go to a bar to dance. You know, they go to a club to get drunk and get down and stuff like that. Which I just feel like, so that's why I'm like, I don't really, it really limited me and gave me a lot of pressure and think that maybe I need to be like Ray Ray. I need to be, you know, playing that kind of music and be on big stages. But then she was like, you know, you don't have to be like me. Like, you just got to do your own thing. Yeah. And then I came to America and I went to South by Southwest. I saw all these fucking dope ass DJs. None of them played EDM. All of them were on fucking turntables, like scratching and doing fucking routines and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, that's what I want to be.
That's so interesting because, I mean, I guess, you know, going back to it, if in Taiwan, like all you ever listened to was like EDM, and if that's all the clubs were ever pushing, for the most part, you're kind of limited to what you are exposed to. Right. So when you come over here to the U.S. and, you know, you go to South by Southwest and you see people scratching and mixing in like hip hop songs with like other random shit. Yeah. It kind of expands your mind and thinking like, oh, well, the world is much more bigger than EDM. Totally. And it's, but I guess, you know, on contraire too, is just that like, I can't imagine going to a festival. I mean, unless it's like trap music, right? I can't imagine going to a festival and them playing like 90s R&B or, like West Coast hip hop or shit like that. It's just like one of those things where it doesn't really make sense. Like, I feel like festival DJing is its own beast where you kind of have to tackle either EDM or trap. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but then again, there's like so many different festivals, right? Like if you go to Smoking Grooves, you're not gonna.
That's true. Yeah,
EDM,
that's true. That's true.
So I think there's still like, then that's the thing about America is like, there's so many different types of like events and parties and festivals that there's something for everyone. And I think that's really like what made me like want to stay here and just work hard at it is because I've seen all the possibilities. And I know that I can be a DJ that people enjoy and then I just realized like, hey, I don't need to be on a big fucking stage or I don't need to be touring the whole world or whatever. But, like if I can rock a good party and I can do that consistently and have people be like, yo, yeah, like Mish can rock a party, then in my eyes, I'm already like successful, So
I love that. I love that. Yeah. And just because in that sense, success comes in like so many different ways.
Yes.
Like I remember like just during the pandemic, since none of us really had gigs or anything, I'm like, well, we're just gonna rock this Twitch shit for as long as we can. And it was so funny, like I guess reimagining what success actually meant during that time. So whether it was like doing 365 days straight or whether it was just fucking like hopping on and just, making sure the chat was fucking flying. There was just so many different ways to like measure success.
Right.
And like, I don't know, I guess in that sense, it's like, it's an interesting space to be in because we don't necessarily have to do festivals to be a successful DJ.
Right.
We don't have to be on the radio to be a successful DJ when I feel like these were always the misconceptions that we had growing up because now, especially with Twitch, shit is just kind of limitless on what success means for a DJ,
Exactly. Like there's DJs that are literally like just on Twitch now.
Yeah.
Like they make enough money just off Twitch and they don't even need to take any other gigs.
Yeah.
They're just on Twitch. And then for me, I feel like, one of the DJs that I feel like, especially in K-Town, that people know the most is Zoe. Right?
Yeah.
And Zoe doesn't play at like huge, I mean, he does play at festivals too, but he's not like this big like touring DJ festivals and all that. But he is so good and he is just so like looked up to in the community in K-Town, in like Las Vegas, everywhere. Like people are just like, Zoe is the fucking GOAT, and that's like, to me, he is like so successful. And I just think that it's just more about like how you really perceive like success, like, cause you don't need to be on like these huge stages or like make a shit ton of money, I guess. I mean, it would be nice, but
I mean, yeah, it would definitely be nice. Don't ever omit the money because like, if we had a couple dollars in our pockets, we'd be cool right now. But yeah, even Zoe, it's like for the times I've seen Zoe just spin, I'm just kind of like, bro, like this man is just going insane.
He is so good. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting how I guess the Twitch world kind of exposed us to so many different DJs.
Right.
And then I mean, I guess because I wasn't fully immersed in the DJ scene prior to the pandemic, it's like people like Zoe pop up in my life, people like Diho and even like Mary pop up, and I'm just like, dude, like, it's kind of interesting how the community in here in LA, it's like, I feel like was very dispersed. We didn't really get to know each other too much. It was weird.
It is. There's just so many DJs out here in LA that I am constantly just like flabbergasted by how many people there is.
Flabbergasted. Like, damn. Flabbergasted, bro.
Well.
No, that's a great word. Continue.
It's just like, because sometimes I feel like I already know so many DJs here. And then there will be times where I see a flyer and I'd be like, who are these people? Like, I don't know any single one of these names on the flyer. And I'm just like, how many DJs are there in LA?
Yeah.
I would just be looking at the flyer like all confused. I'd be like, where do these people pop up?
Okay, so then now question. Do you feel like the DJ community is oversaturated?
Yes. 1,000%. But I don't think that's like necessary. I mean, there's like upsides and downsides to it. Like, I do think it's a little oversaturated, but I also think, you know, I think there's enough to go around for everyone because LA is such a big like city, you know, and there's always going to be new events popping up. I think the problem that I have with this situation is more that, I mean, if it's oversaturated but everyone's pretty good, then I don't have a problem with it. But if it's oversaturated and there's like people that are just
trash,
not good at DJing, and they still get booked regularly, that's my problem.
Yeah, I get you.
Like, I feel like if everyone's decent, then you can't complain it's oversaturated. You just got to work harder and be better than the other people.
Yeah, exactly.
To get booked. Like, you got to have like more branding or more marketing or more something. Like, yeah. But then if it's like oversaturated and then you just see people who are just not even good, and then it's like, what about people that are good and are not getting that many chances?
Dude,
know?
This is the way I see it, right? I feel like the really good DJs don't know how to promote themselves.
Right.
And the beginner DJs have nothing but time to promote themselves. Yeah. So that's where we kind of get that weird, the bad DJ, the not as experienced DJs. Let me just say this. The not as experienced DJs are getting more looks. And then the more experienced DJs are kind of like, what the fuck? Like y'all are fucking like messing up the price.
Exactly.
Everybody's hiring DJs for like $25, $50 an hour. Y'all are fucking it up for us.
I mean, that is true. But then also, I think the other thing is like nowadays, like what are clubs looking at now? They look like how many followers you have. Yeah. Like when they book you, they're like, what's your Instagram? Yeah. They want to see how many people you can bring out. Yeah. That's the reality is that this whole culture is like the people that are booking the DJs, they don't care if you're good. Oh, I mean, a lot of them don't really mind if you're that good or not. They just care if you can bring people or not. Yeah. So like you would see a DJ who has only been DJing for like maybe a year, 2 years, have like 20K followers. And then people who have been in the game for like fucking 20 years, they have less than 1,000 followers. And to be honest, if I'm the club owner, who am I going to book?
Who would you book?
I mean, don't call me out.
Let me see. Who would you book?
I mean, if I was a struggling business, I would probably book the person with more followers, to be honest. But you know what? The thing is, if they're it depends on how bad they are.
I'm dying, by the way.
If they're really bad, though, I can't.
That's the thing.
If they're really bad. Because if they're just like decent, like mediocre, and they can bring a lot of people, that's fine. But if they're like bad, then that's going to mess up like the club's like reputation as well. Because people are going to go and be like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I also don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. If you're decent enough to at least do it.
Yeah, I don't need you to be Zoe, right?
Yeah. Exactly. We don't need you to be a fucking DJ Zoe and fucking just kill it the whole fucking night. But if you're decent enough to like, I'm not always turning my head every fucking 5 seconds. Yes. Like I'll be like, all right.
I can't even finish one drink in peace. Yes. I'm like, some DJs, I'm just like I just stop. I stop.
Let me ask you, do you find yourself like going to events without naming any events, right? But do you ever find yourself like going to events and like you're just always hardcore judging whoever the fuck is DJing?
For sure. All the time. That's the one thing I realized after I started DJing. Like before I started DJing, I feel like I could really enjoy the music more, like the event more. And then now after I started DJing, I'm just, everywhere I go, I'm just like, what is this music?
Fucking bored out of your mind.
I'm constantly judging, and it's so like, I mean, it gets a little annoying at times because you can't stop. Like you can't help yourself.
Like annoying that you are judging.
Yeah. If there's like a bad transition, there's no way I can just be like, that's fine. You know? Yeah. I mean, okay, 1 or 2, because I fuck up sometimes too. Yeah. But if there's like more than 3 bad transitions like in a row, then it's impossible to enjoy my night.
Yeah. At that point, I just feel like, yo, just
like,
go home and practice. Just go home and practice, bro.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it sucks when club promoters or whoever, whoever's like doing the event, like just looks at like a number, because it's kind of misleading in that sense. I know people with like dope numbers on Instagram or TikTok who are like dope DJs.
Yes.
So I can never, that's like one group that I can never knock. But like, it's kind of interesting, especially the way like, let's say like TikTok is forming right now, right? It's like, I'll watch a couple DJs like do some TikToks, and it's just like super simple transitions, like literally song A to song B.
Right.
And I'm like what did they do? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. That's all I have to do? Just
what are you trying to tell me in this TikTok?
Yeah, and
What's
then I'll go in the comments, I'll be like, really? Y'all think this shit is fire? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'll text Kizza all the time, like, hey, like I literally texted this fool Kizza the other day. I was like, hey, bro, if you see me doing stupid, simple ass transitions on TikTok, just know that I'm just conforming to what the fuck is going on right now. But it's ridiculous how it's just ridiculous how even like DJ content just moves, because it's just so unpredictable. But the simple shit, it's like we know how simple it is because we're in this industry and we know what the fuck is going on. But like when you try to translate that with other people, when you try to do complicated shit, they're just like, fuck all this complicated shit.
Right.
We just wanted you to transition.
There was one time I went to a bar, and I was in Taiwan, and there was like one of my really, really good friends. He was spinning. He's a dope ass DJ. He's like he's like the youngest DMC champion like in Taiwan back in the day. He got it when he was like 16 or something.
What's his name?
Tea Time.
Tea Time. Okay.
Yeah.
Shouts
so
out to
he's
Tea
like
Time.
really, really good. And then so he's a resident at this bar, and I always go there, and he was just like spinning, and he was like scratching as well, and we were like, yes, go off, And then this other friend, like my friend, comes up to me, and he's like, yo, like he doesn't know the DJ. Then he walks up to me and he's like, yo, can you tell the DJ to not scratch? And I'm just like, no, I am not going to tell him not to do that.
What the hell?
And second of all, you should be appreciative, okay?
Yeah, like look at the fucking skill, bro.
I know, but see, that's the thing. It's like this art form, or like there's a lot of things that, and he wasn't like scratching too much either. It wasn't, I mean, I understand if he's doing a whole fucking routine in the bar, then that's not gonna work, of course. But it was just like little scratches like here and there, like Zoe does,
Yeah.
And then so imagine if Zoe is spinning and then someone comes up and he was like, hey, can you not scratch?
But
like,
I guess it kind of makes sense in that particular setting, right? Because you said the bar's in Taiwan, right?
Right.
So like scratching is a very hip hop thing to do.
That's true.
And
That's
if
true.
hip hop, because you and I had this conversation at your gig the other night, but like hip hop hasn't infiltrated its way into Taiwan. So when you introduce scratching to people, they're kind of just thrown off, I would assume.
Right. I mean, I think the interesting thing is like when I say like, oh yeah, I'm a DJ to people in Taiwan, and they're like, really? Wow, so you do the the thing, like they do that. Have you ever ran into someone that does that? I feel like every DJ, like when they tell people they're DJs, and you're like, yo, they do that.
The chicka chicka.
Yeah, the chicka. Oh my god, I swear.
Yeah.
So then they do that. So they know.
Goddamn.
So they have some kind of. But I think that shows like the misconception, right? It's like they know that this is what DJs do, but when they actually hear DJs scratch at a bar, they're like, "Yo, can you not do that?"
Yeah,
which is like I think there's like a huge gap in like the misconception and like how to get to like the appreciation part.
Well, I mean, if it's not that, again, if everything is just like all EDM, you don't necessarily hear like EDM DJs just scratch it up. Even I will feel weird like when I'm scratching in EDM songs, because we've been at these festivals where it's like, okay, everything just kind of sounds like one long ass fucking song. You don't realize when someone's scratching some shit in. So I don't know. It's kind of weird when you try to implement something that I guess is seen as like a universal DJ thing, but also not familiar to certain crowds.
Exactly.
Because I would also assume that your friend is really good. I'll say that.
Yeah, right? Of course.
Because I've never heard him, but I'm assuming he's hella good.
Yeah, he's really good.
So how come you think like hip hop hasn't immersed itself in Taiwan?
I think it's just like the culture is so different because I think we grow up listening to pop. And that's like the only thing. Like, not really that many people. I mean, in my parents' genre, like, I mean, their era, they listened to like rock, you know, like Beatles and Queen and all that. And then there's sort of like a gap. I guess it kind of just, there was some hip hop, but I don't think everyone was like down. I don't know why. I guess like hip hop, like the rap thing, people just didn't really get it.
Yeah.
Like it was hard for the rap and like the hip hop music to really be more like, you know, integrated into the culture. So it's more like, I mean, R&B I guess is a little easier. And I think it's, I don't know. And also people don't really know how to dance
to hip hop.
Yeah. Like the beat or something is hard.
I feel like there's levels to like BPMs.
Yeah.
And the way you dance is portrayed based off whatever you're doing. So let me just simplify it for everybody. Like I felt like with trap music, for example, right, which sits at like 70 BPM, you're kind of just like, you're either moshing or you're chilling.
Right.
Once you get to like 100 BPM, like West Coast hip hop, everybody, it's like that's when you start getting like ratchet. Everybody's like shaking ass, whatever. Then once you creep into like EDM, which is like 120, it's like fucking fist bumping and jumping and all thumping and all that shit.
Yeah. And the thing is, I feel like when I started DJing, that's when like trap, like hip hop, you know, like really started to like be on the rise. Like Migos, that's when they were like popping off. So I feel like actually a lot of the people in Taiwan, they really like accepted that, like that type of hip hop. I think it's because the beat and like, you know, the hi-hats
kind of matches up. Yeah.
It's very like, they know how to follow the beat where, you know, and the verses, the chorus are very like more, I guess it's a little more simple, like compared to like, you know, boom bop or whatever. So they were like, I think that young people, they really were like, okay, yeah, I fuck with this, you know? And then I think 100 BPM is a little harder because we don't twerk, like we don't know Asians, you know, just Asian people in Taiwan.
She said Asians don't twerk.
Well, Mary Jane. No, just no. I'm saying she's the best Asian twerker that I know.
What is going on?
No, I literally like I don't. Well, Asians twerk, yes, a lot of but Asians don't twerk in Taiwan. That is not a thing.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I mean, granted, I wasn't back in the Philippines when I guess twerking was a thing, but it's like I can't imagine like people from the Philippines like twerking on each other. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It only happens like here. Like imagine you go to Korea. Do you think you're gonna see Korean girls twerking in the club? I don't think so. You know? I don't think so. It's just, I think so. So when I feel like in my opinion, in my experience, when I go back to Taipei and I play something around 100 BPM, it's really hard to get the crowd going. Cause they're like, they don't know. It's like an awkward, like, you know, BPM. They don't know how to move to it.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to be one of the first people to really just like push that shit over there. Mish is going to teach everybody in Taiwan.
Lead by example.
Exactly. You got to teach the whole fucking country how to twerk, Mish.
Oh my God. All right.
That's how you really going to stand out over there. You said, fuck all the EDM shit. Everyone's going to twerk in this fucking country, bro.
Oh my God. Have I found my new calling?
Maybe. I mean, you've been acclimated over here in the U.S. for a minute now. You know what the fuck to play already. God damn. So you start DJing 6 years ago. We could say roughly like 2016, right?
Right, yeah.
And so then like, I guess, what was the first gig that you got?
My first gig was actually, I threw a party myself. Because I was like, I want to play, you know, in Taipei, it's really hard to get gigs. Like if you're just starting out, it's so fucking hard.
Sounds like LA.
Yeah. I feel like LA is a little easier. I mean, in my opinion, like, I feel like in Taiwan, people are so much more close-minded. Like, even if you're at a bar, you're at a, you know, every bar and every like club, they have their own resident DJs, and they never get other people to come on.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like, and then they have like and then it's like if you play at this club, you can't play at another club. They have like gangs and stuff, like, you know, cliques or whatever.
It's not that serious, by the way.
I know.
It's really not. We're just playing fucking music, everybody. So you decided to just throw your own party for the first thing you ever wanted to do.
So I was like, you know what? Because I think at that time, that is the reason that drew me to DJing, was that I want to play music and everyone have fun together. That's all I want.
Okay.
And so, and also I was like, I did realize early on that the music scene is very limited and very small in Taiwan. And I want to just like, you know, have different types of, for the same group of people to be able to listen to different types of music that they don't usually like take the initiative to go listen to. So the party was like at my school, because I was still in college at that time. So I just like rented a venue, like, you know, very close to my school. Then me and this other friend, like we both DJ'd, and then I invited like 2 other like bands, like kind of like underground bands.
Okay.
Like indie band to come play, and then I like sold tickets, and then I, you know, took out some of my own money like out of my pocket, and then
there we go. Yeah, that was an air horn, by the way.
All right, like a silent. Yeah. I was like,
no, but that's fucking lit. Continue.
Yeah,
I love hearing this story.
Like, and then I told everyone in my major, like in my department, I was like, hey, I'm throwing this party, and there's gonna be these type of music. Like I got 2 bands coming. I'm DJing myself. I got another friend to DJ with me. And, you know, I think I got like one of the professors to perform as well.
The professor?
Yeah,
what?
Because I was like, hey, I'm throwing this party. And then like and then I guess because one of the professors, like some of them heard about it. And then I know that one of the professors like that is actually really popular, like the most popular professor in our school. He plays the guitar and he sings.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you know what? Why don't we get him on? Because, you know, everybody will be thrilled. Because he hardly ever performs, like, you know, he just teaches, and then maybe like once a year he'll like bring his guitar.
Damn, then you got him out coming for his once a year.
Yeah, and I was like, we should do that. And then, so I made it like it wasn't like a public thing, because I wanted it to be just like our friends, like at school, like all our classmates. So yeah, it was like a private party with all our classmates, and then the professor came, and then indie bands, and everyone had a really good time.
That's fucking lit, dude. And it's even more lit too, because I mean that was 6 years ago when you just started throwing your own parties. Right. It's so cool, like 6 years later you're still doing the same shit. Yeah. Like, and that's what I was talking about earlier in the podcast, is just like your consistency. I didn't even know you did that before. So the fact that you did that before and you're doing what you do now, which is throw your parties and literally just have like, this is my bill, this is the sound we're going for, y'all can come if you want to. If not, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things that, you know, that have remained my goal, like in DJing, is that I'm not DJing because I think it's cool. I'm not DJing because I want to make money, you know, because there's not really that much money. But, you know, but it's just like I want to do this because I feel like I'm like, you know, as DJs, we're like the curators. Yeah. And we're like the gatekeepers. We don't make the music, but we bring the music to people. Yeah. And then so it's like, what kind of sound do I want to have? Like, do I want to bring to the people? Do I want, that's why nowadays I don't really enjoy like playing top 40 that much anymore. It's because a lot of times I feel like that's so accessible. Like you can just do that. Like you can listen to the radio all day and you get all the top 40 you want. And then, so when I play, I always like to throw a little something else in there. So people will be like, oh shit, like what is this? I want to listen to more of that. And then I think that's what I strive towards, is always bringing a different sound to people that you might not always listen to that type of stuff. So I think like throwing an event or like being in control is like a very big thing to me.
Yeah, because then I mean, as a viewer or an audience member, you kind of know what to expect. Then it's like, okay, cool. We're not gonna get all the top 40 shit. We're not gonna get shit that we're so prone to listening to. So let me just like open up my musical palette by going to Mish's event, for example.
Right.
So there was actually also this very interesting debate that I saw yesterday. It was on the Thizzler. I don't know if you follow the Thizzler, but they're a huge.
I know.
They're a huge media brand in the Bay, right?
Right.
And it's interesting because as of the past couple of months, they've been trying to get, I guess, DJs to really support the brand as well. So they rose an interesting question, and the question was,
We're like, wait a second, let me go back to this other universe that I was just at 3 seconds ago.
That's where the shroom just kind of hit. The question was, how does a DJ and artist relationship get stronger? It was along those lines because basically I feel like there's this gap between artists and DJs. And the reason why I know there is because in those same comments, a lot of people were saying the best way to get your shit played by a DJ is to pay them. And I'm over here thinking, like, I left a comment. I said, first of all, if any DJ accepts your money to play your shit, they are goofy as fuck.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not like a big ass song, right? It's just like, starving artist A. Right. But if you're starving artist A and you're paying this to DJ A and DJ A is like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. It's like, bro, like, you lose your credibility because, as you were saying, it's like we're the curators.
Right.
We're the gatekeepers for this shit.
Right.
So if you can get paid off for a relationship or you can get paid off to play this fucking music, your cosign is not worth shit, bro. Yeah. Or girl.
I mean, for me, it's like, I don't know. It's, when I was on Twitch and then, a lot of people do like requests, like if you, Venmo me like $5, I'll play your song or whatever. And then the thing is, I think I did that for like 2 streams and then I stopped because now it's like, if you really pay me, I have to play it.
Yeah.
But what if I just fucking don't want, I mean, I understand that you gave me $5.
Yeah.
But what if the song just fucking sucks? And then, so what the thing with requesting on stream is that you can't say no. You can't say, you know what, I don't, let me refund you. It's like once they Venmo you, you just have to play it because they already Venmoed you.
Yeah.
And you feel bad if you don't play it. And you just have to play it. And then I hate that feeling of just because someone paid me, like I have to play this song because sometimes this song fucking sucks. Viewers would come in and like literally, new viewer, they probably don't even follow me or they just follow like 5 minutes ago and then they come into chat and you're like, yo, I made this new song, can you play it? And I'm just like,
yeah, it's that feeling. I know what you mean. It's that feeling of being bought.
Yeah.
Because realistically, I would do this shit for free.
Right.
So if you're paying me to play some trash, it's like,
I know.
I feel like a part of me kind of just like sells my soul at that point.
Right.
Just
if
a
the
little bit.
music is good, then I'm like, okay, this shit kind of hits. But if it's trash, then no matter how many DJs you pay off, it's still going to be trash.
And let's be honest. Anybody who's like paying DJs to play their shit, your shit's probably trash. It's probably trash.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the culture in like Taiwan too? Like, are people trying to like break records in that sense? Because over here, it's like, especially in LA, people are always trying to get their shit heard or whatever. Like, so I'm not sure the differences between here and Taiwan. I don't think so.
Not in my experience. I don't think so. I think that's the thing with, I mean, you're talking about like artist DJ relationships, and I feel like in Taiwan, like that stuff is like almost non-existent.
Really?
Because in Taiwan, all the scenes are so like torn. Like they're just so separated. Like, like certain DJs will only hang out with certain DJs. And then like certain rappers will only hang out with certain rappers, and producers, whatever, they're all like so far apart. And there's just not a lot of like mingling happening, which I would love to see more, but there isn't. I for some reason, I think it's just our culture. Like, we're just not as open-minded. We're not like, yeah, hey, let's do something together. Like, no, because there's like some type of like distrust or something. Like, oh, hey, I don't know you, so I don't even know if your shit is good. That means just maybe not, you know, get into that. So it's like a weird thing. So I don't even think that people, you know, in Taiwan or musicians or rappers or whatever will try to like even do that. Yeah,
that's so interesting.
Yeah,
I just feel like over here it's like, I don't know, you kind of need, it's kind of like one hand feeds the other, right?
Right, totally.
You know, over here it's
yeah,
that's very fucking interesting.
And then the other thing is the language thing, because in Taiwan, like most people, like we play, you know, like hip hop or pop songs, but it's never Mandarin. It's like it's always like American shit. Like we only play, we still, even if you go to Taipei, you still hear like Billboard stuff. It's not, there's like no Mandarin stuff.
So there's no homegrown music that's very popular. Because I'm sure there is homegrown music.
There is, but you know, I think there's a stigma in like nightlife where if you play Mandarin, it's like a lower level. Like it's kind of like corny or cheesy, or it's not fancy enough. Because I think in Asia, there's this like white people are better type of thing.
I get you.
Mentality.
Yeah, I get you.
So like pop music from America, USA, amazing, you know? That's all people listen to. And if you play a Mandarin song at a club, everyone will be like, I mean, now I think the young people are really like more open to it. They support a lot of like local music, local artists so much more than before. Like nowadays, like underground, indie, like even like, you know, small up and coming hip hop rappers. A lot of those they're really like on the rise right now, which I love to see. But for a lot of more traditional club owners, they don't want their DJs to play Mandarin stuff. They only want English.
Yeah, that's a very interesting perspective, because that's literally racism like getting bled into the music scene without people really realizing that. Yeah.
Because they just, for some reason, I think it's just because that type of mentality is so deeply rooted. It's like if you play local, like local is bad.
Yeah.
They're like, local is bad, foreign is good, you know? It's just, there was one gig this time when I went back. I had the most fun. Like I had so much fun during that gig, and I played literally like everything I wanted. And the crowd went crazy. Like they loved it. And then I played, I guess, like maybe out of like 40 songs, I probably played like maybe 10, you know, like Mandarin songs. Wasn't that much. But everyone loved it, because for them, it's like, it's almost like karaoke. This is what we grew up with, like the pop songs or the hip hop.
Kind of like an inside joke.
Mandarin, this is local stuff. Like we know this. This is what we sing when we go to KTVs and all that. So like they were like singing their hearts out. The crowd fucking loved it. And then I came off and I went to the bar, and the bartender was like, "Oh, I think that was a little too much Mandarin." And I was like, okay, whatever. I had fun. Fucking
you see everybody here fucking singing this shit. Like
I was like, dude, they were like standing up, like jumping up and down, like they were fucking loving that shit. And you're telling me that it's too much Mandarin. So
that's very crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the first person to experience this. Like I've seen my other friend, DJ friend, he's been in the game for like a long ass time. He literally called someone out like on his Facebook, and he was like, this person, like this manager from this club told me that like only poor people listen to hip hop, you know, or something like that. It was so crazy. Like they just, I have no idea why, but you know, there's just this like, you know, stigma of, local,
you know what?
Hip hop, like more grimy. I don't know.
You know what? I think, and again, this is just me and us having this conversation, and it's like raising ideas. It might be the shrooms too, but like, so you know, even in Filipino culture, for example, right? It's like when you look at light-skinned Filipinos or white people, it's like such a high priority in their like, oh my God, like
Right.
like this is what beauty looks like. This is what like rich people look like, right? So then when you go to like the darker skinned Filipinos, like, you know, they're just kind of shunned or put to the side. So if we think about pop music, right, when it is mainly white people, I'm not saying there are no black people in like pop music, but it's predominantly white people.
Yes.
And then when you look at hip hop, I'm not saying there's no white people, but it's predominantly black people.
Right.
And if we combine all that with the conversation we're having right now, I guess you could kind of see how, like, I guess in the mentality that they have in the country is that if you listen to hip hop, you're considered like kind of lesser.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like, pop, you know, glamorous, white people, rich, fancy, you know, they're like, this is the type of bougie vibe we want.
Yeah.
And then like hip hop, oh, kind of grimy, maybe not that, you know, like a little more abrasive, some language maybe. Yeah. And then like, you know, people are, I don't know. It's just, I think it makes sense. But at the same time, I think it's really like an issue that we need to tackle. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense the way they would think.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I can see why you think that, because this is just such a, it didn't start today. Like it's just been so many years where the power dynamic of Asia and like Europe and America and all these things that make the entire Asia, like all these countries think
that way.
White people shit is better, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, and they kind of like look down on their own local stuff. So it's something that, you know, I can understand where it comes from, but it's very problematic.
Yeah, and it's a very ancient way of thinking, you know, and I feel like, I mean, I feel like it is our duty to, I mean, we could talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like musically too, like it's our duty to play shit where it be like hip hop or something that A, we don't see as lesser, but B, like it's really to not only introduce a new sound to whatever country or whatever you're in, but like to prove that like this old weird racist way of thinking it's like so outdated, and you really shouldn't be thinking that way anymore. Because I guarantee you, people like us, in terms of like our age group and whatnot, like we're not thinking of that old way where we see white people as like they make the best fucking music. If we listen to their music, we're gonna be rich.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And actually a lot of that's like, which I really like, is that with this time going back to Taipei, I do see a lot of younger people really like embracing the local music a lot more, and like just, you know, Mandarin music over the past few years.
That's lit.
Yeah.
Do you have any like Mandarin speaking artists that you really rock with? Jesus Christ, that was definitely the shrooms.
Well, yeah, one of my favorite artists, her name is Jolin. Jolin Cai, yeah, Jolin, and she is like,
I'm gonna look her up.
She's like the Madonna of Taiwan. She's super like popular across China and Taiwan, and she's collaborated with a lot of really dope artists. I think her latest song, actually, she collaborated with the super like EDM DJ Rehab.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's lit.
So she's like this multi like talented, like she can dance, she can sing, like she makes all these, like she has her own label or whatever. But yeah, like she has been, I think she started out maybe 20 years ago already, or 25 years. Yeah. And it's been really, like, I've been following her since I was like 7. Yeah. So
I think we're going to need a DJ Mish produced record for her.
So I do play a lot of her songs.
That's lit.
Like, especially when I go back to Taiwan, because she's so well known and everyone knows her songs.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to put me on afterwards. I want to listen to some shit.
Yeah, it's like playing Mariah Carey here.
Okay.
Like, everyone knows her.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Is the Asian TLC thing, was that?
Oh my God, here we go.
Was that purposeful or accidental? I think I asked Mary the same question, and she said it was kind of just like, it just happened.
I don't know who coined it. It wasn't us.
I thought it was
It wasn't us. No, I think it was maybe someone in my chat, like it was from our Twitch viewers, because we play together all the time. A lot.
the time.
Yeah. And then I would like have them on my streams too a lot. And MJ would have us over on her streams a lot. And then I think, I don't remember. I think it's because we all play a lot of hip hop and R&B, you know? And then just one day someone said like, you guys are like the Asian TLC. And we're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I saw you post your flyer the other day about your party, I'm like, why does that just make so much fucking sense?
That's how we felt. We're like, wait a minute.
It makes sense. I'm not gonna lie. The more I see all three of you on stream, the more I forget you're all friends, and the more I just kind of think like, are they fucking sisters?
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes I'm just high as shit, and I'm just like, I think they're related. But like, I mean, it's very cool to especially see like, you know, you three do your thing. I feel like there's always like this difficulty when it comes for women in music. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people take advantage of women in music.
Right,
so
totally.
The fact that like all three of you kind of just like band together is just such a cool and beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, totally. And a lot of people are like, I guess I forgot who I was talking to the other day, but then someone was mentioned that it's surprising that we're all actually friends. Like we're such good friends. Like we don't just DJ together. You know, because a lot of people, they see these people play together all the time and they're like, oh yeah, they just play together.
Yeah.
But we literally like hang out together all the time. Like even when we're not DJing, like outside of DJing, there's so many things that we do together as well.
Yeah.
And I think someone was saying like that's actually kind of surprising because you guys are all like really good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, you guys, I mean, y'all banding together is kind of like what am I trying to say? It's kind of a statement, right?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like, because there's just so much adversity that comes with being a female DJ, y'all are just like standing together and saying like, yo, we're not taking shit from nobody.
Right. Totally.
Well, it's really cool, man. It's really cool. I really want to see like how much more y'all three can do together, because individually all three of you are dope. Shouts out to Catch, Mary, yourself, obviously. But I mean, shit, I definitely need to come out whenever you guys have something together.
Yeah. And not when you're DJing, when you're off.
Yeah. And not when I'm DJing.
Which is hard. Which is difficult.
Super difficult. Dude, I was literally just at apartment 503 yesterday because a lady after hours was throwing like a little reggae thing. Yeah. And then even Seduza, she was spinning and she was like, you're here. I'm so surprised. I'm like, dude, like I try to make time for all my friends whenever I can, you know, because I always feel like, you know, as a DJ, we always want everyone to like support us, right? But then sometimes you get so lost in wanting everybody to support you that you forget like Mish exists, right? Lady After Hours exists, right. Zoe exists, blah 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 exists. Like, let's go out and support them for a change, right. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Do you now, like nowadays, do you go out anymore, like just to hang out? Like if you don't know anyone on the roster, or if you don't know anyone that's playing and you're just like, oh, let's go to Lock and Key this one night.
No,
you don't do that anymore?
I don't.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I feel like I need to know somebody in order for it to be worth it for me.
See, that's the thing. Because that's how I feel too. And I was like, does every DJ feel this way? Because now I feel like when I don't know someone and I just go, I feel so like
detached.
Uncomfortable. I don't know. I feel like I stand on the dance floor. I'm just like, what do I do with my hands? Like, what am I? Can
I act freely? Can I move?
Can
I dance?
I don't know what to do. Yeah. And it's like, especially if the place is like packed. And then it's even worse because then I don't know anyone. And I was like, damn, I wish I knew someone that's DJing and I could just go to the fucking booth, you know?
But I think that's the main thing too. It's like, if you know somebody that you know is DJing, more than likely somebody else who you know that they know is going to be there too. So it becomes less uncomfortable,
right,
you know?
Just more familiar,
because realistically it's like, I like kind of, me personally, I kind of like being alone and doing my own thing,
right?
To where if I don't have to go out, I'm really not gonna go out,
right?
Like, I could really give a shit.
Yeah, because when me and MJ and Catch, when we went to San Francisco for Arena, and then there was one night when we were all off and we're just like, all right, let's go out and check out some places. And then I think we went to like Temple, and then we just stood there and did not know. We didn't know what to do. All three of us just stood there like super awkward.
That's funny.
We were just like, what do we... We were just like looking around like confused.
Yeah.
And then I think we'd left after like an hour.
Yeah, I probably would have done
or like half
thing.
an hour. We just felt so out of place.
I feel like also too, like if my friends are not there DJing, I'm just like, so what's the point? A part of me also just wants to like just show love. You know, like the other day when you had your gig, it was like, okay, well, you know, I'm off tonight. Like, I know it's not going to be a club setting anyway, so I'll be cool to kind of just chill. And I will say though, like, I felt like I needed that night because it was just so refreshing to like let go of the I'm the DJ.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what was funny too? And I don't know if you even remember this or even thought the way I was thinking too, is like I think someone who hired you or some lady came up to all of us, right? And she was like thanking you, and I'm over here, oh, you know, my name is Nico.
Yeah.
And then it was cool for you to be like, oh, you know, Nico's a dope DJ too. But the thing is just like, I remember like a couple years ago, like I would be so hungry to be like, oh, you know, like I'm DJing too, you know, like I'm a DJ as well. But like, it was cool to kind of just like not even mention that I was a DJ. Like, even if you didn't say that, I would have still just been like, cool. And it was cool to just kind of be like anonymous at that point.
Yeah. That's dope. That means that's a very interesting like realization that you had.
Yeah. It was literally the first time I felt that, where I'm just like, I enjoy not being the DJ.
Yeah.
You know?
That means like, I feel like that means you've kind of like in your journey you've also come a long way. Because that means you're a lot more comfortable in yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need that validation. You don't need other people to be like, oh, he's a dope DJ.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you already know.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be that the whole, like, that does not define you. That's not your whole personality.
Exactly.
And you don't need to be like the dope DJ the whole time. You can just be Nico.
Yeah.
You know?
And although I do want to say thank you for actually saying something, so you know, I do appreciate you. Of
course. Whenever my DJ friends come out to my gig, I always like try to, you know, like if the person that books me come up or whatever, I always try to say like, oh yeah, they're a dope ass DJ as well, you know, because I want to be, you know, I got this opportunity. I want to share this opportunity with my friends. Like, who knows? Maybe they'll decide to book my friend that came out.
Yeah.
You know?
So then, as a DJ, how do you see support? Like, what does supporting a DJ look like to you?
I mean, I think just showing up is like the most important thing. Like, to me, like when my friends come out and they don't need to like buy drinks or whatever, just the fact that they took the time out of their day. Even on Twitch, they don't have to leave their house, but if they tuned into my stream, they're giving me like freaking 3 hours of their day. That's amazing. Because I know I probably can't do that for a lot of people. Like, I don't have that time or energy to consistently like be tuned into a stream like 3 times, 4 times. I mean, you must have some viewers who are there like every stream.
Yeah, and who are there for like
the whole time.
Yeah.
And I know that that's like a huge dedication, because I know I probably can't do that. So every time someone just shows up, it's a very like comforting feeling, because at the end of the day, I feel like being a DJ, you want to share your music, right? Your discovery, your curation. Like, look, this is what I found. These are the top 10 edits you know, I found like this week, and I want to share it. So if there's people there that are willing to, you know, show up and just be there, then I think it means much more, because not because you need validation, but because there's more people that you're sharing it to. And I think the joy comes from the sharing part. Yeah.
That's applause, by the way.
Okay. Do you do this every time?
Well, normally I have.
Explain to all your guests, like.
Well, because normally I'll have headphones on normally, and then like if the headphones might be loud enough for them to like hear the shit. That's why. So that's why now I'm just explaining like this is the air horn, this is the applause. DJ Mish, everybody. This was very refreshing. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mish.
you.
I'm so happy to have you.
Appreciate it.
Before we get out,
Right.
especially because we've been seeing your tattoos for the
Oh.
entire podcast, can you break down the plethora of tattoos that you have on your left arm?
So this is the first one that I got. This is Scorpio, of course, because I'm a Scorpio.
With fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fire.
Nice. I love it.
And then this is my name in like the Chinese character of my name.
And that's also pronounced Mish?
No, it's pronounced Yun, Y-U-N.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's
this
cool.
is Yun. And then the Bubbles, of course, because I love Powerpuff Girls and Bubbles is my favorite. And then this one is my grandfather's name. He passed away like 2 years ago. I just want to keep it on my arm.
Condolences.
Yeah, was it when the time you came out to Federal, was that Thanksgiving? Do you remember? Was it another time?
It was a time where okay, now that we
Maybe
got
it
to this story, it was
wasn't.
actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
It was a time during there was like a DJ convention in the Bay.
Right.
That's all I could really remember.
Okay. Anyway.
I want to say maybe it was like November. And the reason why I bring this up is because I remember after your Federal gig,
Yeah.
you were like, yeah, there's like this DJ convention going on in the Bay. I'm going to go. I was like, oh, well, I'm from there.
Right.
Maybe we can go together. You're like, yeah.
Oh my God.
And then
It was
the next
Red Bull,
day,
right?
huh?
It was Red
It
Bull.
was Red Bull. And then the next day you texted me, you're like, hey, so I don't think I'm going to go
Yeah.
anymore. And I was like, well, fuck. All right, then. You could have just said you weren't fucking with me.
No. Oh my God. Damn, I should not have brought that up. Now I'm getting fucking exposed.
But I say that all to say that we're really good friends now. So I'm
Yeah.
happy about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
Oh my God. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was around that. And it's really just because you brought up Federal. Okay, so then that's your grandfather's name.
Yeah,
and what's the
and-
last tattoo?
And then well, there's this one
Or the last
got
two.
recently. It's just my hands and then some flowers growing out of it, which I really like. And then this one I just got it because it looks good. I just feel like I wanted this type of shape. And then yeah, this part didn't really heal very well. It's kind of like a little scarred, so I
Yeah.
gotta get it touched up. But yeah, it happens.
What's the next tattoo looking like?
I don't know. So Sixella, my friend,
Yeah,
and Monica and Kat, they got a matching tattoo together, which is like a heart with some like flames on it, I think.
Okay.
And then me and MJ were just thinking about getting the same one, so like all four of us would have matching tattoos. But I'm still thinking about it. I don't know if I'm getting like I want to get like another one like so soon. So yeah.
You ain't getting Mish on your knuckles right
Oh my God. No. That would be a little too much. That would be a little too much. They're just like, hey, MJ. Like
Yeah, shouts out to Mary for having that knuckle shit. 'Cause I'm over here. I saw the photo. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I could ever do that. So shouts out to
Nico?
her.
Nico?
Nico, well, Blitz actually would count. I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I thought about it because I'm like, okay, well.
you were standing there like actually like considering it.
I'm like, Nico, Blitz would fit if it went right here, but I'm
Right.
like, I'm all right. I'm okay.
You
I'm
actually
alright.
sat there and tried to map it out.
Yes. I will admit I did map it out. Anyways, y'all, DJ Mish, where can everybody find you, my friend?
Instagram, my handle is _DJ Mish _. And then on Twitch, it's just DJ Mish. And what else? I think that's it. SoundCloud, DJ Mish with 3 H's. Because DJ Mish was taken. Yeah, that's it.
There
Come
we
find
go.
me.
Nico Blitz Podcast, DJ Mish. We are out, everybody.